Peace, peace, peace. What going on, my peoples? It's your boy Sincere Seven coming to you live and direct from the Psychonaut Academy of Detroit, Florida edition. Hey man, I'm not listen. I'm just I feel good about it. You feel me? So I just hopped on to kick it for a little minute. I put a little picture up today about my 55 gram ceremonial cacao with 420 milligrams of organic technologies in it. And I received some questions, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I was like, oh, okay, well, shit, I talk about it, you know. Some people are aware of, cacao and its properties, and apparently some people are not. So just wanted to come on and talk a little bit about it and my process, as was asked and requested, right? So first of all, what is cacao? For those of y'all who don't know, cacao is, what we call chocolate in its real, actual, natural essence. Um, Down here in Florida, you can buy cacao pods. You know what I'm saying? They're a nice big fruit. You know what I'm saying? It's about that big. You crack it open. It's got white flesh throughout it, and it's got these beans or pods um, within them, or seeds or whatnot. And you allow those to ferment, and then after you ferment them, you will roast them. Some people do it on hot rocks. Some people, it's different ways to do it. Some people do it in the oven. There's a lot of different ways. But after you roast them into a certain point where they crack, pop open, and then you take the shells off, the husks off, and inside is what is called nib. It's a cacao nib, and it's basically like a little seed, and you've roasted it now, and it has flavor, and that is where chocolate comes from. Okay, so ceremonial cacao that's collected in certain areas for the usage of that. And when they take all of these cacao nibs out of the seeds, they will mash them up until the oil and the fat start to come out of them, and it starts to turn into like a thick, almost like peanut buttery consistency. And the more you mash, the more bring out the oils and the fats, and the more creamy it get. Yeah. And so what you'll do is you'll mix that ceremonially with water and organic technologies, and then they will drink that. You know what I'm saying? As a people. So the question was asked was how do I make mine? Do I do it raw? So I just wanted to kind of go through the understanding of first what we were talking about for people who might not be aware of what cacao is. So we're not talking about something that you can get in the store and it's powdered up or nothing. So if you hear me talk about sprinkling it's not cocoa. It's not the shit that they sell in the store. This is something that is crafted in a different way, and it doesn't have the sugars and the, dairy and all of this stuff mixed in it that creates what we call chocolate out there, right? Because when you mix these things with the cacao, it destroys the properties of. That's how it's taught. Like you don't want to do what they do, but this is the original hot chocolate. This is what cacao is, y'all. It's the original hot chocolate. So when you have these ideologies of sitting around the campfire drinking hot cocoa and telling stories, well, that wasn't created at that camp. You know what I'm saying? This is something that the indigenous people of different lands have done for a long time. Cacao is one is MAOI, and for those who don't know what MAOI is, it is basically it's a substance that we take to inhibit our body from blocking or flushing out certain things that our consciousness seems as harmful. There's things that we consume that without MAOs in our body, they would poison us or make us sick or make us go through things that the the MAOs block and protect us. Things such as cheese, wines, certain citruses, different things like this. Without MAOs within our body, those things would affect us a lot differently. So MAOIs or MAO inhibitors are things that we'll take that will stop our body from blocking those things or neutralizing those things. So when you use ceremonial cacao in a high enough level, it works as a MAOI. So when we take things such as hape or mushrooms or other what we might refer to as organic technologies, it allows us to feel them more intense. It allows us to be able to absorb more of the properties that give us these abilities or take us to these places. So cacao is a slight MAOI. Also, cacao is a heart opener. Okay, a heart opener. And what do I mean by that? Like, MDMA is a heart opener. Cacao is a heart opener. Bufo, 5-MeO DMT is a heart opener. Babensana is a heart opener. These are the um, plants or animals or substances that when we use them, they have a, what is that term? What is the term? They got a term for it to explain when we're using the term heart opening, because it's like a lot of people feel like that's a hippie term, but it's the best way to understand what we're talking about, because that's what it does, is it opens up your heart. I can't remember the term right now, but anyway, cacao is definitely one of those that activate what some would call the heart chakra, the love within us, the compassion, um, the um, as oneness, right? Opens that up quite a bit. So when you use that in accordance with the organic technologies or the sacred fungi, when these activation of, for me, the 420 grams is usually my normal microdose, right? But it activates within me more in my crown chakra or my brow chakra when it activates, or what some would refer to as the crown of brow chakra. It activates there, like, but when I mix it with my cacao and I drink it, it activates more in the heart chakra, more in the heart space, more. So it's like I feel the activation, but more than in the psychic realms and in the realms of higher consciousness, I feel it instead in the heart, and the compassion and the love, and the music just feels more music-y. You know what I'm saying? And just everything is just flow and just it's like more involved. As opposed to a teacher, it's a partner. Yeah, like when you in the consciousness realms and you're receiving things in the brow chakra and the crown chakra, it's like a humbling. Like I'm a student of an ancient teacher, a powerful teacher. But when it's the heart chakra being activated, it's more of a, I'm part of a grand partnership, a grand love affair, a grand involvement with the energies, and that just feels so much different, right? Okay, so excuse me, I just got lost in it, right? So how do I prepare? Somebody asked me, so I'm going to go ahead and give you all my preparation. I take 55 grams, 55.5, and I do this because I'm very intentional with what I'm doing. This is a bit of magic with me. So I'm very intentional. So it's like, why not just 55? Like, no, it's 55.5. Get you a scale, zero it out perfectly, and then measure you 55.5 grams of ceremonial cacao. Now, mine, I have it where it's been creamed and made into a brick, and I might use that for a group ceremony. And then I have mine where it's been broken down into a powdered, and then now it's powdered in big chunks. This is the one that I use for this. So like my personal getting up and making me some ceremonial cacao, this is what I would use, is So for those who might source cacao for different reasons, this is how I'm looking. This is the grade that I use for this practice. And I'll take 55.5 grams of the ceremonial cacao, and I'll put it a pot on my stove, and I will set it for real low to medium heat. And I put the dry chunks and powder of cacao in there and put it on low heat. Now I go get my mug and I put about a half of water with coconut milk and coconut water. The purer the better, right? Coconut milk, coconut water. Coconut has a lot of fat in it, okay? Which I like in what I'm creating. And I will take that and I'll mix it up, and then I'll come back to the pot that has my ceremonial cacao in it. And if you just take the spoon and touch it, you'll see it's melted. There's so much fat in that. So as that's melted, I'll start stirring it. And so now there's a creamy, fatty substance in the pot. And then boom, I just start adding my water, coconut milk, coconut water mix slowly, letting it warm up. So first it'll turn into a nice thick, and then as you add a little bit of water, it'll, in the water, coconut milk, coconut water mix slowly. So you're just kind of concentrating the liquid into the ceremonial cacao as it's still heating up. So you're letting it, every time you throw a little bit more in, let that heat up, let it heat up, but you're steady adding more and more until you've added the whole mug of water, coconut milk to your ceremonial cacao, and you have a nice little stir going, and the consistency is kind of, you know what I'm saying, picking up, and you got like a nice little simmer going, right? You can see just a little few bubbles. Now, when I get to that process, I'll let it sit for about 30 seconds to a minute, and when you see that simmer start to come on, I'll just turn the stove off, because now it's hot. It's hot. It's almost ready to boil, right? And I'll take this and I'll put it in my little, it's not a Ninja, but a NutriBullet, the thing that you put it in the cup and put the top on and say, and then chop it up. This is to make it frothy. I like my cacao to be frothy. And see all of the fat content in there. Now when you put it in the blender, any little remaining pieces of cacao that might be in there are going to be blended into the creamy milkiness, and it's going to be frothy. And I'll add 1 microdose, because I poured half of the cacao into there. I'll add 1 microdose. I'll open it up and empty out the constitutes of 210 milligram microdose, blend it up, and I'll pour that into a mug, and then I take the other half of the cacao, pour it into the NutriBullet, empty another microdose, put it on, blend that up, and then add that to the mug. So now I have a complete mug filled with my 55.5 milligrams of ceremonial cacao and 420 milligrams of organic technologies, blended up into a frothiness. Hold on, I skipped a step. I'm sorry. While I put the cacao in, remember I started there. Put the cacao in, go and get your water, coconut milk mix ready. When you come back, before I stir it, I put a grind of Himalayan pink Himalayan sea salt, a little bit of cayenne pepper, a little bit of cinnamon, and then I stir it. And then I add the liquid constitutes. Okay? So the Himalayan pink sea salt adds some nutrients and elements to it, some micronutrients that was not present. And the cayenne pepper is going to basically add a ability for the capillaries to open up, like your arteries and veins, like to send this throughout the body, right? It's working with the body to send this throughout the body, right? And the cinnamon is to give some flavor to the cacao. If you have a fresh vanilla bean for those people who are fancy, if you keep vanilla bean in your cabinet, open up a vanilla bean and scrape all that out, put that in there, and then when mine is finished and I pour it in my mug, I sprinkle the ginger on top. I'm a cinnamon and ginger freak, so I put the cinnamon and ginger, and that's how I complete my, hot cocoa. And again, this allows you to consume your microdose in a slower manner to where the energies that are given to you, they are it's more of a symbiotic relationship. It grows into, so you're not, you know how sometimes you'll microdose and you'll be doing your work and you'll be like, oh shit, there it goes. Okay, all right, it's kicking in, right? You don't get that because you're sipping your cacao. Like it might take you, 30 to 45 minutes to drink your cacao, maybe an hour, because once it gets cold, it's still good. That's the difference, like this and coffee. Like once my coffee gets cold, I'd be like, get another. No, not this. I like that that I just finished. That was cold, but it was still so good. And it was, and I might put a little agave or honey. Some people don't like it straight raw, and it depends. Like if I'm doing ceremony, I might leave it more raw, right? But if I'm doing like my morning, you know what I mean? I'll put a little agave or honey in there, and that brings about the sweetness. So it compares to hot chocolate, like, and it's blowing it out the water because this shit don't give you the heart opening effects. You know what I'm saying? Don't potentiate your organic technologies. You know what I'm saying? And it's not ceremonial. Like it's commercial. And you want to have a commercial drink in the morning where you're starting your day off and tapping into spirit and to self and to the energies that be, or you want to do this in a ceremonial way. You know what I mean? Me personally, I like the ceremonial. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I put together my ceremonial cacao. And if you don't have access to it or you don't know where to get it from, hit me up. You know what I'm saying? I can make that happen for you. I got sources out in Mexico and a couple other places. Peru. So they're different. You know what I'm saying? I got purple cacao, you know what I'm saying? High fat content. This is what they would call like the dark, you know what I'm saying? I got the white cacao, the yellow cacao. And it's like they're different because some of them have more fat content, some of them have more flavonoid content. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're different, right? Flavors are different, the fillings are different. So if you're really into cacao, like if you're a cacao connoisseur, oh man, I got some things for you. I got some people to connect you with, and if you're just somebody who's into the ceremonials and into, respecting the ancestral realms and the select, or just moving into these different realms and feeling these different energies that be and how to open up these different portals within ourselves, yo, holla at me. Like, I can put you on the right path, get you some nice supplies, show you how to do some things, you know what I'm saying? So you can take your shamanistic works into the privacy of your own home, you know what I'm saying? Your own village, your own, practices. Let's take the commercial out of it and put the ceremonial back into it. You figure deal me? But yeah, man, that's all I had to kick it about, you know what I'm saying? Unless I got any questions, comments, or concerns about anything. You know what I mean? Just wanted to come on and just, answer a few of the questions that people was putting out there, you know. I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really just like I want to go out here and lay in the grass and do some yoga. Like, you know what I mean? That's a ceremonial cacao with your organic technologies. Like, as opposed to usually when I get up microdose and then I just be like in the zone and be ready to create and be ready to do work and do my business and do all of this. Like now I feel so much more tapped into just love and just and awareness of and compassion. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to hug somebody and give them that real hug, like where like they can I told somebody I feel like a Care Bear right now. There's so much energy and love and compassion that I have just exuding out of right here that if I was just to hug somebody, their whole digestive system would just slow down and their heart would just start to activate with like this energy. Like, yeah, that's what I'm telling y'all. That's what I have in me right now. I can feel it. Like I need to share this shit. Like, hey, come here. Like, I'm about to go to Publix and just start hugging people. My ass gonna be in jail. No, man, I'm talking shit. I'm having fun, but I'm serious about that. That's what you do. You activate that part of you, like that's what I was saying earlier, man, about the magic and the mystical arts and things like this. And a lot of us don't understand that when we're talking about magic and mystical arts and sorcery and these practices, we're talking about hacking the universe, y'all. We're talking about like an individual who can use a computer and turn your ATM card to where you put it in the machine and type 5 digits and thousands of dollars just flow out. Most people can't do that. You like, man, shut your ass up. But if you are a hacker and you used to hack the government and you used to hack the IRS and you used to hack, you probably know how to do that shit. So who am I to question you? Here's my ATM card. Hook it up. Shit, right? Okay. That's the same thing when you meet these magicians and these alchemists and these priests and priestesses and these people of these higher practices and teachings. Okay, they have been taught how to tap into, know, and understand the frequencies of the universal sequences, or what we call mathematics. When you are able to understand these sequences, you are able to add, subtract, multiply, divide, and other mathematical computations better than individuals who do not understand universal sequence. So when we're talking about magic, mystical arts, and sorcery, we're talking about hackers of the universe, not of technology, of the organic technologies. That's why you'll hear us use these words such as organic technologies. Your best hacker of the computers is nothing in comparison to my crew and what we do in the universe. Okay? So when you catch this understanding, then you start to understand what magic, mystical arts, and sorcery is. Those who have been, listen, those people who know to read bones, to you, you just threw a whole bunch of stuff on the floor. When they throw them bones, oh, they seeing mathematical codes just like the individual in the Matrix when he's like, I see a bunch of numbers and letters. You don't see the woman in the red dress? Don't worry about it. I do. They are individuals who went through these practices. When you're dealing with these Reiki artists, these are people who have tapped into the different realms of the universal energies, fluxes, and sequences, and learn how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Okay? So this is what we're talking about. So even when you're dealing with sacred plant medicines, cacao, um, ayahuasca, um, peyote, wachuma. These are, how you would say, hardware. These are the hardware that would compare to the hardware that hackers use. Some of them, they had a computer and then they'll pull out a box and then plug it in their computer, and that allowed them to do something that they couldn't do with just the computer. That's hardware. That's shit that can be connected and disconnected and put somewhere else. You can carry this, put it out, take it out, connect it to another computer. This is what's called hardware. So our sacred plant medicines are hardware. Software are programs that are put in the computer. This is when you upload and download. So an individual will say, okay, I got this software, boom, download this into your computer. You downloaded that into your computer. You don't have to carry it anywhere or anything like that. It's in you now. This is software. Y'all don't believe me? Go talk to the people who do the computers. Ask them if I'm saying the right shit. Stop me when I start lying. So when you have the software implemented or uploaded and downloaded into you, you no longer need the hardware. You got the software, and now you have the ability to tap in, to open, to close, and to alter these sequences that other people who don't have the software can do. Okay? So you got hardware, you got software, you got computer, you got the motherboard, you got all of this shit that's going on, and all of it's tapping into the internet. These are the sequences of what we would call the universe, the all connectedness of one. See? Everything in the universe is built off mathematics. Everything down to the finest molecule of whatever called of an atom. An atom, a cell, the smallest molecules that we generally are aware of and know about. All right? Generally. See how I did that? Right? So when you go into this, this is still a movement. All of these are movements, and everything must move in the universal flux. So what I'm saying is these mathematical calculations are always going on. They have to be. There is never not a mathematical equation going on. The question is, what is controlling the mathematical equation? Can you add, in parentheses, this mathematical equation right in between this mathematical sequence? This is why I say sequence. So everything that's happening in your life is based off a sequence. When you was born, you took your first breath of life. That breath of life, as we call it, was a mathematical imprint of your blueprint. Because every single planet in our universe was in a certain place at a certain time. All of them have different energies or mathematical equations that are produced through action. Remember, it always has to be moving, right? And when this was a snapshot, and you took your first breath, that belongs to you now. But you was also, because there was other people taking their first breath, but you was on a certain part of the planet. So you was a little closer to this, or a little further away from this, or a little, right? So even though the same breath, nah, different locations, and all of those have their different mathematical equation. There's never been one that's the same because of the motion and because of the location. It can't be. That's where they come with the two things can never exist in the same time in the same space. Talk to me, y'all. I talk back. Talk a little shit. I talk that. Am I losing y'all? Okay. So understand, as we move forward, none of these things can take place at the same time because there's always action and movement following the sequence. So with that being said, the sequence is always moving, always changing, and it's up to you to be a mathematical equation, is to be able to put whatever sequence in the midst of the universal sequence that is already playing out. But you have to know your mathematical sequence, your numbers, your calculations to be able to create the correct difference in difference. See, when you subtract difference or add the difference from where it was at to where it's at now, you have to be able to what? Equate that into the mathematical equation. As long as you can do that, you can change the sequence. So if you want to, you got $1 in your account right now. You want to add 6 zeros to that amount, but you want to add them after the one, not before the one. So the way you do that is you add the 6 zeros after the one. Now, in that mathematical equation, you just change the place of sequence of events. So you have to add something in between that equation that makes that part that changed to equal out in the complete sequence for that not to be stopped or neutralized or erased. That that's what we call magic. The Intentions and Manifestation Magic course. You want to know more? Inbox me. Intentions and Manifestations. I am. Hey, that's the end of this. Hey, what I want y'all to do is I want y'all to find somebody that you love and tell them that you love them in the language that they can understand it in. Peace.